What's up, everybody? Sorry for the darkness of the video, but I'm driving. It's nighttime. You know how that is. Well, I want to talk a little bit about URG, the stock, UR Energy. Today, I believe we witnessed a triple bottom, and we bounced off it into the close with decent volume. And I think from here on out, the stock is going to move. It hit 53 cents, 54 cents, and 53 cents for a nice baseline of 53 cents over the last 3 months. And it bounced each time. And I think what'll happen now is it'll run up to 78 cents, which is its resistance. And once it breaks through that, then you have your new floor. Got a lot of things on the plate coming up. We got the White House Summit for nuclear energy. That's tomorrow, 6 November, that President Obama will be chairing. And then he has another one scheduled for 1 April 2016 in DC, and that's going to be a really, really big one as well. A lot of people have been looking forward to this one that's tomorrow. A lot of the nation's leaders be there. I don't know what's going to come out of this meeting other than what's been hinted at, and Obama is really pushing, the green movement. He wants to get rid of coal. He wants to reduce natural gas greatly, and wants to go nuclear energy as a base load with support from all the renewables. And I agree with that. There's a lot of things I don't agree with Obama since he's been in office for these 2 terms, but I definitely agree what he's trying to do. And I'd like to see if subsidies or some type of investment from the government. I want to hear what the Department of Energy has to say. I know Bill Gates has been talking to them, and they seem to be changing their tune and opening up. I know Obama stresses that we need to stop shutting down these older reactors and figure out a way to somehow maintain them and keep them going. And we definitely have a need for building new reactors, some smaller reactors, and I'm all for that because nuclear energy is the greenest energy on the planet. It's the most powerful mineral in the world, basically, but it's also the lowest cost energy in the world and most dependable. No emissions at all. And you can recycle the nuclear waste. A lot of people don't realize it, but you do your homework and you'll see that is the case. So there really shouldn't be concerns. I know some people freak out, like I would read Twitter or something and they'll say, oh shit, well, it's just, what about terrorists or moving the uranium which is yellow cake and stuff, or getting in the wrong hands, and they associate nuclear energy with nuclear bombs and stuff, and it's the same source, but it's 2 different animals. You have to really, really break that down and really, really enrich it. And the United States really does a really good job of tracking all the movement of uranium in the world. And we just need that. We need those partnerships like we're establishing. And I mean, the writing's on the wall. So there's so many indicators that this is where we're going. And it's been in the doldrums for 5 years, but I see a nice recovery, a renaissance of nuclear, if you will. And I believe that it's got a huge future and is set to explode in 2020. It's going to take off before that, though. I think it'll start taking off in 2016, really start picking up momentum towards the end of 2017, mid-2017 through 2018, and then 2020, it's going to be crazy. And the reason for that is if you look at the charts that all these experts have been showing, and there's no refuting them, because you can only go based on what's available and what the needs are of the utilities. There's a huge break in demand and supply, and demand outstrips it hugely. Like it's exponential. Boom, it's huge. Like there's a real break off, and we just won't be able to keep up. That's why you got countries like Australia freaking out. They're talking about, their politicians are like, we really need to start mining again, because we're sitting on an $80 billion source of revenue for this country. So they're the government. You know, the governments always of each country are going to do what they want. You know, it's just like I read where there's a lot of protests in the Grand Canyon area of Arizona that you know, the conservative groups, Indian groups and stuff want to preserve the Grand Canyon. Well, yeah, you can conserve the Grand Canyon. The new technologies in uranium, which URG does, by the way, they're the lowest producer of uranium out there. There's other companies that make the claim, but they're not drilling. So if you're not drilling, you ain't talking. And so URG is the cheapest, and what they do is they don't break rock. They don't disrupt the surface of the earth. They pump water in the ground, they mix it up, and then they extract the uranium. It's pretty awesome, and it's pretty cheap. Very cost effective. Well, anyway, I saw earlier this week where a Russian company came in, bought 50% the remaining interest in these mines that supposedly will never be open again, based on what you read of the governor of Arizona and these Arizona group leaders. Well, what that tells me is now federal is going to move in, the federal government, and they're going to open the mines in Grand Canyon. UR Energy has got a lot of catalysts coming up, not just the White House Summit tomorrow, 6 November, but they've got a pending approval for expansion to double the size of the current operating mine, Lost Creek. They submitted that, I believe, on September 29th. It's projected to be approved no later than 14 December this year. I suspect it'll be sooner rather than later, because this isn't a request for permit to build a new mine. This is a request to expand the current site. So I don't expect it to take as long. Then you got, they should hear something within a week or two on their permit request on the Shirley Basin property. That's another shot in the arm for UR Energy. And then they're also talking about 3 years down the road bringing on their Lost Soldier property. They sell in these long-term contracts, 60% what they take out of the ground. The other 40% goes in inventory, so they can take advantage of the U308 spot price when it moves, and it's going to move. It's not a matter of if, but when. A lot of analysts that come out, and they came out a year early, but I think their head is definitely in the right place. It's just they thought that market would turn in 2015, and I suggest it's in 2016. So you got all these catalysts. The writing's on the wall. If you just do a little research, you'll see that everybody's striving towards nuclear energy. There's been a big push since about 2008. It normally takes about 8 years to bring a nuclear reactor online. You got 3 or 4 years of bureaucratic bullcrap, red tape, permits, all that shit you got to get through. It's the hardest mine to put in operation, basically, in the world, because uranium is the most powerful mineral on in the planet Earth. And then it takes another 3 or 4 years to actually make the nuclear reactor. Then we have a nuclear reactor coming online in the United States, the first one in 20 years that we're putting into operation. It's 50 miles outside Nashville. That'll be another catalyst. You got India, China, especially China, going crazy, just building. You got the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, UAE, they all want nuclear reactors. Iran wants nuclear reactors. I'm not sure what to think of Obama's deal with Iran. I don't know if it's going to get pulled off the table, how that's going to play out in the future. But as long as we have good relationships and partnerships with these countries, these leaders, it's in the world's best interest to go nuclear, and that's where I see it going. And that's where a lot of people think see it going, including IBM supporting it by their computers, their analysis. You got Bill Gates; he's been talking about nuclear and renewables and how they work side by side. And then you got basically the largest built up of nuclear reactors ever. If you look at all the nuclear reactors being built and permitted at this time compared to the ones that have come offline, the only country that's basically said, well, they're not the only country, but they're the main one, the main flag. Well, we're shutting down all our nuclear reactors. I think they got like 13 and they 16 or something, and I think 17, and then they've shut down 8. Well, what they didn't realize is how much it's going to cost them and how much they're paying to France to import nuclear energy, and then they're bringing in coal, and I mean they're fighting everything that they're trying to accomplish. So I think that'll change when their elections happen, and you won't see those rest of those reactors get shut down. It's very expensive and not cost effective, like I said, because nuclear energy is cleanest, cheapest, most beneficial base load energy in the world. I wish the United States, I don't know if this will come out of the Congress, but I kind of wish the United States would outsource more of their expertise and technical knowledge in helping the other countries build properly with safeguards and stuff. Because I'm not going to lie, I do worry about like Iran or India. I don't have the highest opinion of India and stuff, or how they do business. I think it's actually worse than the Chinese. I think the Chinese have gotten a lot better in the last decade and a half. But it's funny when you see things like China is building a nuclear reactor in the United Kingdom for like 3 times the normal cost. That's crazy to me. But there's a lot of reactors coming online, a lot of places, and this has all been in the last 10 years, And then the big catalyst is the separation of supply and demand by 2020, where it's really bad, and it really separates both, and the supply just won't be able to keep up with demand. And that's why you see Warren Buffett come out last month, and he built up like a uranium reserve bank, kind of similar to the IMF, International Monetary Fund. And this is to protect nuclear reactors and utilities from having a shortage of uranium on a case-by-case basis. That tells me that they're pulling all the stops, and if Warren Buffett's involved, people need to take notice. People need to get educated. They need to understand that nuclear energy, what it's about, why it's so important, why it's a key to protecting the Earth. And my prognosis of URG stock is we'll get to $1. We'll break through 78 cents. We'll establish that new floor. We'll get over $1, and then probably late December this year, or early January. And then what I think is going to happen is by the end of 2016, the stock will be between $3 and $5. By the end of 2017, I look for the stock to be $8 to $10. 2018, $12 to $15, maybe more. But all bets are off. 2020, I think the stock will be over $30. It's also another thing. It's got 15 million shares float. I've noticed institutional ownership has gone up. I've been watching it since the beginning of the year, and it went from like 8% up to 13% up to 26%. Don't follow Yahoo Finance. Their key statistics because they're out of date. So ownership has been going up. The chairman just bought 75,000 shares on the open market last month, and Wyoming's got URG's back, and I really think it's a great investment. It's really going to make you a lot of money and make you feel good about yourself that you're getting in on something at the ground floor. You have to be careful, though. There's a few companies that I really don't care for, and I definitely don't like UEC. I think it's a sham job. They don't produce anything. All they do is brag about what they believe is in the ground. But if you're not producing anything, you're not adding to inventory, and you're just bleeding money, then I'm not going to look at you. UEC reminds me a lot of IVAN, that is no longer existing, went bankrupt. Robert Feitman or whatever ran the company, Ivanhoe Energy, and all they did was slide presentations, shake hands, smile, and there was no value there. Well, that's not the case with URG. They're the real deal. They're making money, selling 60% long-term contracts, $20 over the current spot price. So they're selling at $54 a pound on average. The current spot price is at 36 pounds, and they're only sacrificing 60% of their total inventory they take out of the ground. The other 40% is just put in reserves to wait to take advantage of spot. That's going to help them grow, strengthen their business model, and allow them to do acquisition later on. And just as I see before my eyes already, they're really quickly moving from a junior to a major player in the uranium space. They're one of only 2 companies that are currently traded on the stock exchange, NYSE and American Exchange, and that's URG and CCJ, which is Cameco, the biggest publicly traded uranium company in the world. Just to show you how good URG is, Cameco lost $11 million last quarter. URG broke even, but before that, they were the only profitable uranium company on our markets, and because they made a penny a share. So they're reducing their debt. They've said that they're not going to. They made a promise back in 2011 that they will not dilute shareholders. They will not raise capital. That they can service their debt with their revenues, and that's what they've been doing. And everything that they said has been on point. So I like where the world's heading. I like where nuclear is heading. I like that I'm in a company that I'm very, very satisfied, very comfortable, and feeling really good about in URG. And I think all these companies, all these countries that are dedicated to nuclear energy, like the Koreans, Japan's restarting their reactors. They've got 2 up already, and there's a bunch more scheduled for next year. And their president is the prime minister is a huge pro-nuclear guy. I just see all this good stuff, and the writing's on the wall. It's not hard to decipher. So I hope you found this video informative, fun to listen to. I'd like to hear your feedback. I'd like to have a dialogue with you guys, because I don't claim to know everything. I like to learn, and the way I look at life is you can learn something from every individual that you meet. So please leave feedback, subscribe if you'd like, and I look for URG to be up tomorrow on 6 November, and from here on out making a move and creating a new baseline for support at above 78 cents. Thanks for watching. Bye.